Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners for April 3rd, 2018. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, Chair of the Board this year. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Clerk of the Board Interim, Whitney Purcell. To her right is Romero Chavez, the County Manager. And to his right is Robin Campbell, the Budget Manager and Assistant County Manager. And to her right is Elizabeth Petrich, the Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Edwards to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
And I, in turn, am going to ask Greg if he'd like to lead us in the pledge today, sir.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with that in mind, I'll call the meeting to order, and I'll ask if there's an approval for today's agenda.
I move to approve the Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018 agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018 agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. And the board meeting minutes for 13 March 2018.
Well, I wasn't here for that. Do I move to approve it?
No, you do it.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
I so move.
So it's been moved and second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes for March 13th, 2018. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so that motion carries as well. So today we have one presentation, and it's National Service Recognition Day Proclamation. And I'm going to ask Romero, are you going to introduce it just to give it some context? And then we have some visitors that will come up, and we'll have Commissioner Hutchins read the proclamation.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to introduce Ms. Chris Wells. She is the Executive Director for the Thurston County United Way, and she will be accepting the proclamation.
Yay. Hello, Chris. How you doing there? You're on.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to first say thank you so much for allowing us to be here on behalf of United Way of Thurston County to accept this recognition. And speaking on behalf of United Way, and I think of all nonprofits, the most important thing about this, and one of the most common questions that we are asked, is how we manage to do so much with so little in terms of the resources that we're all sharing and trying to affect the changes that we make in our communities. And I would say that this, I'm up here receiving this recognition, but it is on behalf of the army of people who are putting their backs into the work to make our community a better place. United Way of Thurston County was awarded stewardship of two programs. One is the Retired Senior Volunteer Program and the VISTA program, which is Volunteers in Service to America. And it is through the volunteer efforts of these people, for our RSVP volunteers, we are currently managing 230 retired senior volunteers who are providing human services throughout the county and also in our neighboring counties for serving 800 students in our early literacy program, our Reading Buddies program, as well as staffing and assisting at food banks and other nonprofits around town. And we also have this year a dozen volunteers in Service to America who are providing human capital. Am I not loud enough?
This one, I don't think this microphone.
I can be so loud. Here, can I see it?
The legendary Robert Mack, ladies and gentlemen.
How's that? Any better? Oh, good. It sounds the same to me. Our Volunteers in Service to America, I don't think we have any of our RSVPs here today. However, our VISTAs this year, we have 12 VISTAs who are staffing positions at local nonprofits, providing the human capital they need to actually get their work done. And what that means is, in many cases, nonprofits have really idealistic, aspirational goals. They have a lot of work that they need to do, but it's really difficult to staff a position to actually get the feet on the ground and the hands doing the work. And that's what our VISTAs do. VISTAs serve a 1 year of service, and for that, they basically receive a stipend. They are not salaried, benefited employees. They are truly volunteers in service to America, and the work that we do and our local partners do isn't possible without them. So next year, our goal is to increase from 12 VISTAs to 20 VISTAs and to continue to administer that program. But what I really would like to do is, instead of hog all of the attention, we were able to gather some of our vistas here today, and I would like all of them to stand up and please be recognized for the work that you're doing in service to this community.
Yes.
And remain standing. I want to just go out on a limb here for a second and ask if anybody who's here observing this today, including our commissioners and our county staff, if you have participated as a volunteer in the community, would you stand up as well? In any capacity ever.
You're kidding.
Oh, my God.
I am not kidding you.
Brian?
All right, microphone number 3.
Rubber cam, yay.
All right, so I just want to say thank you to everyone. United Way of Thurston County is here to receive the recognition, but it really belongs to you, and we appreciate you, and we can't do our work without you.
Yeah. Don't leave. Stay right there. We got questions.
Well, I just want to point out, we tried 3 different times to disrupt your presentation, and you did well.
I'm literally the loudest person I know, and I have a hard
Okay.
time believing I even need to be amplified. But
Thank
sure,
you
whatever.
very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
Oh, no, whoop.
No.
And thank each of you very, very much what you do.
Yeah, I'd like to second that. I mean, your contributions in one way or another has had an impact, I'm sure, at the individual or collective level, and either through United Way or on your own, and for everybody that volunteers here in Thurston County. It makes a world's difference in somebody's life somewhere, and I'm absolutely grateful for United Way and what they do. Thank you so much, Chris.
The one last thing I want to say is, if we are going to quantify the value of volunteerism in any community, I know in the state of Washington, just in terms of what it would cost to staff the work that we do, the average volunteer hour is valued at $30 and a couple cents per hour per person. And when you multiply that by every hour of service that's represented in this room alone, I'm not going to do the math because I'm not a mathematician, but it's big. That's it.
Stay right there.
No, stay here.
Okay.
All right.
And that's leading by example. Thank you. So, proclamation for National Service Recognition Day. Whereas, and there's several of them, whereas Thurston County recognizes service to others as a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges. And whereas the nation's counties are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet their needs. And whereas national service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and providing education, career skills, and leadership abilities for those who serve. And whereas national service participants increase the impact of the organizations they serve, both through their direct service and by managing millions of additional volunteers. And whereas national service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on taxpayer dollars. And whereas national service participants demonstrate commitment, dedication, and patriotism by making an intense commitment to service and commitment that remains with them in their future endeavors. And whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps participants serve in more than 50,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are so vital to our economic and social well-being. And whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps participants address the most pressing challenges facing our communities, from educating students for the jobs of the 21st century, to fighting the opioid epidemic, to responding to natural disasters, to supporting veterans and military families. And whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service shares a priority with local leaders nationwide to engage citizens, improve lives, and strengthen communities, and is joining with the National League of Cities, the National Association of Counties, Cities of Service, and local leaders across the country for National Service Recognition Day on April 3rd, 2018. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 3rd, 2018 as National Service Recognition Day and encourages all residents to recognize the positive impact of national service in our community, to thank those who serve, and to find ways to give back to their communities. adopted this third day of April 2018, signed by your Board of County Commissioners.
Yay. Come up and get a photo. We can get a photo.
Yeah.
Come on up here, all of y'all.
You gotta come up and get the
Yeah,
photo.
yeah.
You know, there's never a general that went off to war didn't have a good cook, supply sergeant, all that kind of stuff.
You stand right there.
Come in.
Without a lot of video.
You hold this,
Yay.
open like that. I need a couple of y'all to go over there with Gary. There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
we're going to have to make you.
There you go. Y'all back
Come
that
on,
way. There you
come
go.
in.
Come on in.
My
There
wife
you go.
always tells me to button up my coat when I get in there with a good young group like this.
Why aren't you in it?
That's all right.
Marisa.
Oh, but
Tell her to
Alan
get up
can
here.
be up,
Tell her
right?
to get
Yeah.
up here.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute, we got an Everett. Somebody come on.
Come on.
Straggler.
That's fine.
Yay. Get
More the
it. There you go.
Mm. Oh, you're teasing me. You take the picture.
I wasn't looking at the camera. I was looking at you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There we go. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So the next item we have is the number, what? Oh, are you leaving, Phil? Okay. So we have it's the opportunity for the public to address the board, and we have Ann Shipley and Kathy McWade here. Yay, come on up.
I see Ann's out of uniform.
Yeah.
So I failed to mention this is where you have 3 minutes to speak. And so
Is it two and a half each?
Yep, no. There's 4
One
right
and a
there.
half
We need to go to
each.
3. And when that counts down, you hear the little buzzer sound. But if you're midway through your thoughts, I'll let you finish up. But I ask you to kind of finish up. And so with that in mind, you have the floor.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Kathy McWade. I'm the Thurston County Fair Foundation President. And I want to let you know a couple of projects we're working on. First, we just had our auction on March 17th, and thank you, Gary, for showing up.
Yeah.
We're working on, I'm writing a grant now for solar lighting for all of our parking lot down at the fairgrounds and the campgrounds. So it's a grant that I've started, and I hope to have it in by the end of this week. So hopefully we'll have new lighting, solar lighting,
Yay.
in the parking lot. We finished the bathroom project under budget, so we're encouraging anybody that wants to help out with the foundation to please come to a meeting. We need all the volunteers we can use. There's about 8 of us, and we're putting in about 1,500 hours
Oh, my God.
of lot of work. So I just thought I'd mention a few things to you. And Ann?
So the auction's over, and now the next thing coming up is Thurston County Through the Decades. And this is a consortium of historical groups in the county, and it circles around the county going to different places twice a year. So 2 years ago, I volunteered the fairgrounds to be where it's going to be this time. So on May 18th from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, there's going to be a bunch of groups there, everything from Grange Halls and Washington Farm Bureau to Thurston County Historical Society. And every time they do this, they feature a different 25-year span. So this time it's 1950 through 75. So we're going to have a lot of poodle skirts and flower children and fun activities. Oh, there's also food involved. So we're hoping everybody comes, and I've got flyers if anybody wants a flyer.
And we want a flyer, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why don't you just take a look?
Uh-oh.
So that's all I had to say. Any questions?
Normally we don't, but as
No, thank both of you for all that you do to make our
Thank you,
fair a
Kathy.
success for our
Yep.
community. 'Cause
And I have a
could not
comment.
do it without you.
I have a comment for both of y'all and all the staff and board members there. I'm so sorry I missed the auction. I make it every year, but I was out of town doing other business on the East Coast, and I wish I could have been there. I just couldn't be at 2 places at one time, and I think you were the same, right?
That's okay.
I was east, yeah.
He was west, I
out.
was east, yeah.
Well, we appreciate your support in any case, whether
Yeah,
you're there
yeah.
or not.
We just couldn't get there, sorry.
That's
And the volunteers left. You should have made that announcement before they left. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is all the people I have signed up for first come, first serve. Is there anybody in the audience would like to come and address the board? Just wave your hand. We'll bring you to the board, to the podium. Seeing nobody, we'll move on to the next item. So the next item is the county manager's update.
I don't have any specific updates for you today, Commissioner.
Nothing specific, okay. So with that in mind, we're at item number 3, which is the consent items, and I'll ask if there's a motion to approve the consent items listed, A through H.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent items A through H.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent items A through H. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. So that takes us in to our department items, and the first that we have is Public Works, and we have Vasily Barata. He is going to tell us about a resolution and call for seal bids for chip seal project CRP 98018. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
All righty.
Public Works is requesting permission from the Board of County Commissioners to advertise a call for seal bids for a contract for the 2018 chip seal project. This project applies chip seal treatment on the surface of 7 roads in the southeast quadrant of the county. The total length is 43 miles. The following roads are included: Skookumchuck, Johnson Creek Road, Waldrick, Reservation, Bald Hill, Rainier, and Yelm Highway. The estimated total construction cost is $2.05 million and will be paid by county road funds. And one source of funds that comes into that road fund is County Arterial Preservation Program funds from County Road Administration Board. That's a state agency that distributes those funds. For the 2018, there will be approximately $500,000. And the contract will be advertised in the Olympian, the Daily Journal of Commerce, and also posted on the website on Builders Exchange.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Questions or comments?
No, thank you very much.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
What section of Yelm Highway are we looking at?
It's from the overpass, the railroad overpass, to the State Route 510.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. No
All
other
righty.
questions.
No other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolution and call for sealed bids for the 2018 chip seal project, CRP number 98018.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You bet. So the next department item we have is through Human Resources, and we have Ms. Ruth Elder here from Board of Equalization. And she's going to talk to a little bit about approving the Board of Equalization's annual request to convene for 2017 assessment year. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So pursuant to RCW 8448010, the Board of Equalization, with the permission of the Board of County Commissioners, may convene at any time when the number of petitions received exceed the greater of 25 or 10% of the petitions received in the preceding year, whichever is greater. So at the time that I submitted this request to you, we had received 832 petitions for the 2017 assessment year. And we're still continuing to get a few coming in. So we actually today have 835, so that you're aware. And that certainly seems to exceed 10% of the number of petitions we had the prior year, which was 636. So on behalf of the Board of Equalization, I'm requesting the Commissioner's permission to convene and hear those cases for the 2017 assessment year, and also request that the board sign the notice of approval form. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions of Ruth?
And Ruth, this is an annual activity that the board is required to do
Yes,
under
sir.
the RCW you stated.
Yes,
Is that
sir,
right?
it is.
Okay, thank you.
No, I do not.
Okay, I don't have any questions either. Thank you, Ruth. So is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the resolution. I move the Board of Equalization's request to convene for the purpose of hearing property assessment appeals for 2017 assessment year and sign the notice of appeal form.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, so that leads us into the next one, which is the Community Planning and Economic Development, and we have a chance to set a public hearing for the renewal of marijuana regulations, and we have Mr. Jeremy Davis.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Jeremy Davis, Thurston County Community Planning and Economic Development. I'm here today to request the Board set a public hearing to renew the interim marijuana regulations first adopted by Ordinance 14944. The regulations will expire on May 8, 2018, if not renewed. The Board may renew the regulations subsequent to a public hearing. Staff is not proposing any changes to the current interim regulations at this time. The public notice will also include an ability for the Board to pass the ordinance directly after the public hearing if it's desired by the Board. This would be the second time that this Board here has renewed this ordinance.
All righty. Any questions of Jeremy? Yeah.
I guess this ordinance has been renewed several times in the past, though, right? Besides what we've done?
Yes, sir. It's been renewed and amended about 9 times over the years since 2013. This past legislative session, we were anticipating some possible changes from the state legislature. Those did not come to pass at the legislature.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
Questions?
No, I don't.
All righty. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to set public hearing for May 1, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Thurston County Courthouse Building 1 in room 280 to accept public comment on the renewal of ordinance number 14944 as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Thank you.
So next we have in Juvenile Court Probation Department here, we have Mr. Mike Fenton, who's going to talk about bad debt from the Juvenile Court Parent Pay Program. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to request that that you retire the uncollectible debt on the Parent Pay Program for the Juvenile Detention Services. This debt has been accruing for multiple years. It is uncollectible. It's been in collections, sitting inactive for quite some time. We think it's time to just retire that debt. It's basically uncollectible. We will continue to work active accounts and try to collect that revenue. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
And you have questions?
No, I
comments?
don't. No, I think we'll just get this over with. And hopefully we won't be going through this under this condition again. Oh, the county manager said he would fill in something for us.
Yeah, I'd just like to compliment, first of all, the commissioners in taking this step and returning this debt. And I think through the process, it has been highlighted that perhaps a systemic issue that we need to address. And you have taken an action, which you, on March 28th, last week, 2018, sent a letter to the Thurston County Financial Management Committee, which is composed of the county auditor, Mary Hall, the county treasurer, Jeff Gadman, and myself, the county manager, in which you asked the Finance Committee to look at all the different policies and procedures, and where systematically they can address all the different bad debt there is across the county, and ask them to submit a proposal to the county commissions to retire the bad debt, in a timely manner. And I think that's some of the good steps that we need to take, and I think you have taken your fiduciary responsibility very seriously by retiring this debt, and by taking the steps with the letter to the Thurston County Financial Committee. I think it's something that we need to address in a more comprehensive manner to avoid this bad debt being accumulated over a period of years, as Mike stated.
Thank you.
Mike, it's always good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
And as you stated, County Manager, though this is regrettable that it's happened over the last 5, 10, 20 years or so, it's landed on our lap, we're dealing with it, and we're moving on, because it's the right thing to do. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'll second both of those comments. So, all right, is there a motion?
I move to authorize the county auditor to take the appropriate action to write off the bad debt accounts from the juvenile court parent pay program listed on Exhibit A of this resolution in the amount of $1,091,726.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded and stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're at the point where the commissioners can report back to the public on their assigned committees or something they might have seen in the public, and they just would like to have a comment or make some sort of declaration. So, do you have anything to talk about?
Well, I would like to at least just talk about this particular issue that we just concluded our action on. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's a good example of actually the leadership from this board to challenge situations that have went unaddressed for as many as 30 years.
Yeah.
And I want to commend Mike for bringing this forward to us, and our financial manager, Robin, because I think it shows the public that although this isn't the most pleasant thing to retire, it is the right thing to do and clear it up in public and get on with life, as Hutch said. That's about all I'm going to comment on this particular time. I'm looking forward to seeing you, though, over on May 24th over at the Day of Champions. And you've been there before, haven't you?
Yeah, it is quite a great event. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe being you've got the history on it, the Kiwanis Day of Champions?
Oh, yes, for the kids and those who are challenged kids.
Yeah.
And so they take the day out of a year and be able to do sports and creative activities and really recognize and promote the kids in the community. Mostly Tumwater, but it goes around the community.
Yeah, and I guess for anyone that might have any questions about it, if they wanted to call Karen at 360-701-9856 if you were interested in participating or maybe volunteering. It's a good cause. You're going to see a lot of happy faces out there.
Yeah. Good. You have any comments?
About that?
No, anything.
Anyway, well, just reporting in, I did just receive or just get back a week and a half ago from a 10-day trip to China. Mm-hmm. And of the 10 days, if you minus 3 days worth of travel, that leaves 7 days where I participated in an economic development council as part of a trade delegation, along with Olympia Mayor Cheryl Selby, and then 11 other EDC folks, Economic Development Council, Chambers of Commerce, entrepreneurs, business owners, and CEOs. So of the 7 days that remained, there was a minimum of 70 hours that we put in that week. It was exceedingly busy, tiring, fun, eye-opening, and productive. It was very productive, and it's already starting to produce results even after subsequent to my return, with Chinese entrepreneurs coming to this region, coming to Thurston County. And then I attended a PAC Mountain Consortium meeting last week, and we picked new board members, and it's a multi-county workforce organization, and that felt good to get back into the swing of things and get some people on the board that represent labor force and internships, and there's another word for internships. Apprenticeships, yeah. So anyway, that's about it. It's nice to get back. I'm glad I'm back. It's nice to get back to the swing of things.
I'm glad they let you back in the country.
Yeah.
In the nick of time.
Well, that they didn't keep you over in that country.
Yeah.
I guess. As a hostage.
Yeah, so I'll just touch on a couple of things that I've been busy with over the last week or so. So one of my committee assignments is to sit on the board for the Washington State Senior Olympics. And I just give a plug out for those guys and gals. The minimum age is 55. I'm the young one there, by the way. And they're usually in the 75, 80, 90-year-old bracket, and they're still doing, I won't say hurdling, but they're doing softball, to swim, So all the Olympic games that you would know, and we do a 4 county wide, Mason, Thurston, Lewis, and Grays Harbor in the month of July. And then we had the big event in around the 22nd of July out at North Thurston High School. Just put a plug out there. Come out there and watch this happen. It's just absolutely phenomenal how life continues on after 55 and still compete like there's no tomorrow. So a couple other things that I'm involved with is the Hazard Weather Task Force. We met last Friday, and this is another great group that has turned the corner on in terms of bringing people out of the cold into the warm. I know it's a little warm out there right now today, but we're talking about how we're going to bring those from the warm to the cold in the summer months also. We have a great plan lined up for this coming season, which is November 1st to April 30th of next year, how to do this in terms of structure, resourcing, volunteers. Anybody who would like to volunteer, contact me. We'd love to have you come help us. And it's just a really good, neat program that ties into a lot of the homeless and housing issues that we tackle through the Housing Action Team that I chair also. So it was a really great meeting. So another item is that I represented the board and the county at the Community Youth Service event where they have a day of recognition, just like we had a few minutes ago, specifically to AmeriCorps. And there's 21 youth there that work there for the underneath the umbrella of the CYS, as it's commonly called. And they go off to each one of the respective schools they're assigned, and they are coach and mentors and educators within the schools, and they do anything from math to social studies to after-school events. It really makes a huge difference to have these AmeriCorps students go off to these schools and on the tribal reservations also, and help with these young people who need the coaching mentoring to be able to ask silly questions or ask cool questions or ask serious questions about whatever's going on in life. And it's really a good thing that the CYS does as far as hosting this, and they do this annually by recognizing these 21 young participants in the AmeriCorps, and I just really applaud them for doing that. Also, I attended the sidewalk, another part of the Housing Action Team piece there, sidewalk auction. Great turnout to take care to support the sidewalk organization. They do a lot of rapid rehousing, and that's a critical portion of permanent supported housing. It's temporary supported housing, to be quite honest with you, but it does a wonder as far as getting people off the street for a month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever the terms of agreement is with the landlord, but at least it's some roof over the head at some point in time. And finally, I'd say I did the opening remarks out at the ESD 113, which is in Tumwater. That's the Educational School District 113. Great program of Eric Hines' video or movie, if you have not seen it. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. Lived to tell about it and walks you through the craziness that goes on when you go to that dark spot when you want to commit suicide. And it is a very good, enlightening piece of video and his story to make awareness and prevention of suicide. And hats off to Eric Riffey, who is the director of ESD 113. She is phenomenal in bringing this to light, especially when it comes to the youth underage suicide. And just can't say enough of good things about her and her program. So with that in mind, I'll turn to the county manager and see what he has to say as far as the calendar.
Thank you, Commissioners. I will walk you through your combined calendar for the upcoming week, where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday, April 4th, at 9 in the morning, you have a report of the 2017 report from the Prosecuting Attorney's Office. At 10 in the morning, you will have the State of the Public Works Department, where Jennifer Walker, the Union Director, will give you a perspective as to how the department is at. 10:30 in the morning tomorrow, you will have a briefing on the Washington State funding for buildable lands report preparation. At 11:15 on Wednesday, April 4th, you will have the opportunity to welcome new employees to the county government. 2 in the afternoon, you have an appeal hearing on the land use. And at 4 in the afternoon, you have the Civic Center Courthouse project update, which is a meeting with the City of Olympia and other stakeholders. Moving on to Thursday, April 5th, you have a day-long planning session from 8:30 to 4:30, and that is going to be located on the Rainier Room, Building C of the Public Works Campus, which is at 9605 Taylor Road Southeast. The agenda for the planning session has already been posted and includes several items for your discussion. Moving on to April 6th on Friday, 8 in the morning, you will have a briefing on the proposed first quarter budget amendment items. In the night in the afternoon, from 9 to 12, you will have a meeting related to the county strategic plan, where our consultant will host that meeting and will walk us through as to the next steps to finalize our county strategic plan. Nothing on Monday, April the 9th, and then we'll be back here on Tuesday, April the 10th to review the agenda for that day and then conduct the Board of County Commissioners in the afternoon. That's my report for you.
Great. Comments or questions for the county manager?
No, sir.
No, thank you.
No? Thank you. All right. With that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of April 3rd, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. We are adjourned.